Okay, here we are again, and we are very lucky that we're having absolute wonderful, beautiful weather, which is really odd in this type of year when you get towards the spring, especially at the first of the spring. You don't usually have this good of weather, but anyway, it's just super. We're in week 6, or 6-week unit, and this is our 6.5, talking about strategy that has to do with singles. Last week in 5.5, we talked about returns. So in the background, you can see the ladies. Jane and Mary, you can see them warming up. Just a typical warm-up. We've already gone through this before where they talk about warm-up. You get in and you get ready to not warm up.
Sorry, Kim. You can't see either one of them. They're both completely out of frame.
Oh, well, they're okay for warming up on that. They're okay on that.
Well, but you're like, as you can see, they're
okay,
warming up, and they're like, you can't
okay.
see nobody.
Okay, gotcha.
So my bad. My
okay,
bad.
You're okay. Yeah. Go ahead and start your serve.
Yeah, it's still recording. We'll have to cut some of this out, but you might want to start over.
Okay.
You might want to start over.
We're good. We're just going to start from here. He's going to splice it. We're going to be all okay. So they were doing their warm-ups back and forth, and a lot of times in warm-ups, it's a really loose warm-up. I mean, the ball may be out, the ball may be bounced twice, the ball may be whatever, but you still want to kind of go through the motions of warming up for a match. And whether it's really kind of a fun match or whether it's a match that counts for something, you still want to go through those motions because you always want to be ready. So that's the point of continuing to hit a ball or go after a ball or run. And also, too, just the warm-up process for the legs. A lot of times we think we're all ready to go and we haven't actually done anything cardio to get us warmed up. So that's kind of part of that process. Last week was returns, and I specifically talked about positioning, where to be on returns, and how important the return is. The week before that was giving some more information on serves. So I can't talk about that enough as far as playing, because we can have all the best strategy in the world, but if you don't get your serve over, you don't get your return back, doesn't matter how great your strategy was. And strategy means hitting the ball where the person is not, keeping that person from hitting one more ball back, executing the shots you need to execute. So we've gone over all the shots by now. We've gone over ground strokes, which are deep. We've gone over lobs, which are high and deep. We've gone over shorter balls, which are moving through no man's land, which are approach shots. We've gone through our half volleys, which are back of service line. We've gone through our volleys, which are not having any bounce whatsoever, taking them in the air. We've talked about how to take a short lob, which would be an overhead. We've just gone repeatedly through this. We even talked about different types of shots. The slice, the top spin, a little backspin. We've talked about the different grips. So you're really kind of putting all this together into the nucleus of your game. Is this a good time to hit a shorter ball? Is this a good time to hit a deeper ball? Is this a good time to hit a cross court? Is this a time to make the ball move to somebody's backhand? Do I see that they're offset? Do I want to hit behind them? Do I want to hit short so they come up and then I have to lob over their head? What do I want to do? So they're warming up their serves, which is kind of cool because when you warm up your serves, you get a chance to watch the other person serve. Of course, you're warming up your serve, so you'll serve well, but you get a chance to see how they're serving. You know, do they move around the court? Does it go towards the center service line? Does it pull off to the side? Does it go deep? Is there a lot of pace on it? What's going on with the serves? Now, an odd thing about this is when we practice our serves, we almost 90-something% only practice first serves. Very rarely does anybody practice a second serve, which I think that's kind of funny too. They only practice their first serves, and then what happens if you don't get your first serve in? You've not even practiced a second serve or a warm-up serve or a second serve or anything that's going to help you out to put it back in play. So have that in the back of your mind that that's a little bit about strategy too, that you want to have a second serve you can always depend on. You do not want to double fault because double faulting is a free point. And then also too, when the person's serving to you, you want to warm up their serve. So start hitting some returns back so you'll have an idea how it feels. Now the ladies, I'm going to move over to the side so you can see the ladies right now. They've gone up to the middle of the court and they have decided by either spinning the racket or a toss of the racket who's going to serve first. And what happens is Laura has the ball, so she's going to serve first. So you can see the ready position that we've got over here for Mary. She's a little offside, so we'll move just a little. Can we move it just a little bit? Can we just a smidge like that? Never mind. We'll get her in a minute. Now here she is. Now here's her return. It's deep into the court, which forces Laura to run back. Now here comes Laura, and she's going to hit across court. So she was aiming across court for Mary's backhand. Now you can see now, it's now Mary's point because that one went into the net. So Laura's getting ready again for her first serve coming in. So you see how ready Mary is. She's ready right there for a forehand or a backhand because she's got a racket right in the middle of her body. That was a super duper first serve. Oh, almost very effective because if that ball had run anywhere short getting over the net, Mary would have had to run from far into her backhand side to get it, and that would have set up a potential pass for Laura. Here we go, another angled serve. Watch how Mary moves back to the court. We got a nice little side section over there. So now we are 3 points in. First serve again for Laura. Here we go. Boom. So she'll get a second attempt on that one. Here we go. Second serve. And so that was in. Now what I'd like to say, she did this on purpose, but she's not going to do it again in the future. So what she'd want to do is she'd want to make sure that she held up on that second serve because the ball did move into the court and it could be a distraction. So now the score is 15-40. That's a let because it hit the top of the tape and went into the service court. So we start that all over again, that process. Laura gets her first serve again, and then Mary's clearing the ball out of the court so it won't be in the way as a distraction or that she might actually trip on it. Or if the wind is up, the wind could blow it into the court. So here we are, first serve again, super return after a super serve. They're keeping their balls fairly deep, trying to figure out now a little strategy. So here it is, a shorter ball. Mary moved up. And so what's going to happen is Laura has now choices. Does she pass her or does she hit over her head with a lob? So now she has choices what to do. That was our first game that we played. So now we're going to switch sides because you always switch sides on first, third, fifth, all odd number games that are played. And now it's Mary's serve. Now, they've not been calling out the score or really anything because I'm talking over them, but the person that's serving calls their score out first, not only the game count, but the score of the game. So Mary just said one love. So that means she has the first game. So a nice little first serve, nice and deep. Little slice there going on. That was a super idea. I'm going to pass over in front of her. And what she did was she hit it cross court to Mary's backhand because Mary was not over in that area. So if the ball had landed in, that was a really good strategy right there to do that. 15 love, so that's 1 point for Mary. So that first serve in the net, see how that ball's coming out? She's going ahead and go and get that ball. You may lose sight of her right now, but she's going to get it and pocket it so that it's out of the way and it can't roll back into the playing court. That's going to be a really huge thing right there that she's going to do. So here we go. Second serve. Bad toss, which is great on her part. You don't want to hit a bad toss. Bad toss usually only makes a bad serve. So she still had to kind of reach for that one. See how she's pocketing again? She's picking it up and getting it out of the way. So here we go. So now that was 2 faults on that one. So now it's 15-15 or 1-1 on the points. Here we go. First serve. A little long, a little deep, and you notice that Laura put her finger up to signal that it was long or deep, so she would know. Second serve, here we go. It was a little wide, but she went ahead and played it in good faith. And the only reason why I could see it over here is because I was on this side of the line. But remember, it's her call. The person who's receiving the serve, it's her call. It's not somebody else's. So it is now 30-15. But that was a super serve that gone in because it was a real angle on that. See how far it pulled Laura out of the court. So even if she got it in play, she was really pulled out. Here we go, another super deep serve. So now you want to be thinking a little bit. Does she take a bigger backswing or does she shorten it and kind of chop it or chip it over? So the whole point is right now she's not getting it into play, so we have to really make sure we get that ball into play. Another super serve. Here we go, approach. She's going to hit a nice little slice. She had the right idea about slicing it short, but did you notice that she didn't get all the way up to it, so the ball was a little wide. So 40-30, that means 3 points to 2. And as the saying goes, 1 to deuce. Oops, oh, nice ball. Little hop and a skip right there. She did it as an approach shot. She hit it deep out of Mary's reach. So here we go. We have a deuce game. That's even score. Now somebody has to win 2 points in a row. These are very important points. 2 points in a row. That was another lat or a nat. So they're going to have another. There we go. Nice deep ball. It forces Laura back. Nice deep ball. It's keeping Mary back. Nice little short. Oh, the right idea. It was going to be a nice little backhand drop. Laura has those shots. They're super. But you saw how far Mary was back when she chose to drop it. It'd be really hard for Mary to get in there. So now it is add in. Mary's ahead 1 point. This is a super important return. Got to get it back into play, and a super important serve. So this is a chance to go back to deuce, or it's a chance for Mary to win this game on her serve. Okay, there it is. I jinxed her by talking while she was serving, which you would not do that if you were on random court. So double fault. Now they're back to deuce. Again, somebody has to get 2 points in a row. And I don't think Laura's over there giving her the stink eye. That's what's making her double fault. I think that she's just thinking about her tosses. Got a little wind coming up. Super serve, super return. Very nice. Another little short ball, little chip. Oh, good eye. She had a choice whether she wanted to stick her racket up and hit it or let it go, and it went long. So now the advantage is in Laura's favor. It's called advantage out or add out. She has 1 point ahead. Super. There we go. Oh, bummer. Return in the net. Now, this is what happens when you get two fairly equal players and they're trying to figure out where they want to go and what they want to do, is these deuces go forever. So that's why one of the games was labeled a no add, which means that you play and whoever gets 3 points first wins the game. So here we are. We're back to add out. Add in, sorry. Thank you for the correction there. Add in. So that means the server is 1 point ahead. Super serve. Nice cross court. Another nice deep ball. Mary scrambling back to get back behind the baseline instead of no man's land. There it is. And see, the ball was just long. She played that well because she was really trying to keep it deep. And if you notice, Laura was well behind the baseline so she could make a good call and so she could hit it if it was going to be a deep ball on the line. We're back to deuce again. So you can see a lot of times keeping the ball in play, forcing the other person to make the error, either hitting it deep to them where they don't have time or hitting it where they're not. So now we have add out. The receiver is 1 point ahead. And now we are at second serve. Here we go. Oh, bummer. So that was a default, that double fault. So that's 2 faults right there together. So that would end that game. So we're going to have a slight pause while we replace our players. They're going to shake hands and tell each other. Actually, they're going to touch each other's rackets and tell each other since we're in our little virus here. So Marnie, you and Jane are up. And then we'll switch back again. Laura, you guys switch out. Yeah, they're going to come on out. So Jane and Marty, you're going to get to see all of them play each other 2 games. You're going to see everybody get to serve and everybody get to receive. And that's going to give you a chance also to see the different styles of playing. And you'll notice with with Laura and Mary, they were very deep players. They hit a lot of deep ground strokes, so that's what their whole nucleus was based on. Now, you guys need to warm up your serves. Are you okay? Can we do first one in? Yes, you can. This is called FBI. This is called first ball in, first serve in. This is when you play a little bit more recreational play. It still counts, but you play, and that way you don't take that extra time to actually be serving. So if that first ball hadn't gone into play, she would get to practice her serve until it goes into play. Okay, so here we are. It is love 15. Yeah, love 15. Let's do it in between the next one. I'm going to do that. Love 15. First serve was a fault. Now we're ready for that second serve. There we go. Good indeed. Holy moly. That was called a down-the-line shot. Jane was thinking about going over there, but no, because it was so good. It was so close to the line. Marnie actually did what's called an inside out. She used her forehand to hit down the line on the backhand, her backhand side, which is not an easy shot to do. That might have been long. Second serve. There we go, nice and deep, a little chip there. Nice little cross court. So Marnie was setting that up for a short angle shot, which is very effective. And then what happened on that, instead of Jane saying, well, I can't quite get there because it's short and low, then she took it low and hit cross court against Marnie. So her angle was greater. So now it is 15-30. Jane has 1 point, Marnie has 2. That ball's going to be out of the way, so she's not going to worry about it. Here we go, second serve, nice and deep. Marnie puts it back deep. So they're keeping it in the center. And did you see how that ball, she had a little bit of spin on that ball when Jane hit that back? Marnie was coming up really good to hit it, but the ball bounced into her. So that meant it was too close for her to return it back, even though it was in the middle. So that goes back to that unit we talked on. We talked about slice, top spin, different types of movements on the ball. So now it is 30-30. Sometimes you'll hear little deuce. So again, right there on that serve, notice how it got really close into Marnie's body. So now all of a sudden we are 40-30. Good first serve, very nice, close to the line. Oh, another great return. Do you see how well that is? She's getting her close to the line. So now Jane's going to have to think, do I want to stand close to the center service mark? Do I not want to serve to her on that side? What do I want to do? Because that's 2 serves over there. Here we go. Oh no, that one might be long. And we're going to pick on her just because she's closest to it. You notice how she hit off of her back foot. So it really pushed her back. It was really a deep shot, so she hit off her back foot and her racket face was open. So that'll cause that ball to go long. Now that one went a little long. Marnie's watching it. It's rolling back, so she needs to go get it so she won't accidentally trip on it or it won't be a distraction. So now we have second serve. And Jane, as an afterthought, said to herself, oh, I should have let that toss come down because that was a too low toss, too far out, and I had to reach to get it. So really you want to avoid any time that you fault, you double fault. The double faults, and especially losing a game on a double fault, you really want to be pretty sure that you have a good second serve that you can put into play. Sometimes we do that because we get rushed. Sometimes we think we have a better toss than we do, but you need to know each time if you're having to move too far to get it, you need to let it down and retoss it again. So now Marnie will say her score first in games, which is 1-0, and she's going to take her serves too. So now it is 1 game. There she goes. She's taking some. So instead of hers being FBI, first ball in, she's taking a couple of serves. Okay? Now, when Jane finished up and had a double fault on that game and lost that game, that was called breaking serve. Marnie broke her serve. Now, if this happens again and Marnie loses her serve, then Marnie's serve will have been broken by Jane. But if Marnie wins her serve, then she has held serve. Held serve. Those are terms that are put in our vocabulary, whether you break a serve or hold a serve. She held the ball up to indicate she's ready to start serving and to make sure that Jane is ready to start receiving. You do not want to do either before they're ready. Okay, we had a little bit of a let here. So it hit the tape and fell into the court, so she gets that serve again. Super, very nice. Oh, just a little deep. She took a huge swing on that. So now she has to kind of gauge Marnie's serve and say, okay, do I need that big of a serve to return to send it back? Do I stroke need to be a little bit less with power? Here we go. Nice placement on that. Little short ball forcing Marnie up. Good return, pushing her back. Nice little lob up. Good chance for an overhead. Very nice placement. Notice how that moved each one of them, and then she sent the lob up. It wasn't quite over Jane's head, and then Jane, instead of placing it back where Marnie was, she put it at an angle so Marnie couldn't get to it. Now it is 15-15. They're even score, 1 point each. Good deep serve. Nice little ground strokes. She's wanting to play a little bit towards Marnie's backhand so she can approach down the line, which was a super, super idea. And then execution, unfortunately, is what falls into play right there. The thought was good, the strategy was good, the movements were good, the execution just did not get over the net. And you've got to remember, the ends or the sides or the farthest point away on the net those sides are always higher. The net is higher on the sides. So when you're going to hit down the line, you really need to pay attention that you get your ball up a little bit more. Okay, now we're on second serve. We are 30-15, second serve. 2 points for Marnie, 1 for very nice cross court. She's got her moving. There we go. Now remember another thing we talked about lobs. Lobs are defensive and offensive. Defensive to get you time to set up when someone's hitting to you, and offensive getting positioning going. So Marnie played that right. She played her back. She played her back. She had 2 lobs in there, and now she was going to hit a ground cross court and just barely hit the tape so it didn't go over. So now we are back to deuce. Sometimes they'll call 30-30 little deuce, 3 all, any of those things. They mean the same thing. They each have even number of points, 2 points each. And I know I don't have to remind you, but all even scores are from the right side. All odd scores are from the left side. So whoever wins the next 2 points in a row is going to win this game. Good first serve. Nice return right down the middle. Nice angle shot. Oh, that set her up for play. Now 2 things went on there. Marnie sit it deep so she could approach on it. And then the return that Jane was going to hit was going to be short, so that was going to make Marnie run even more to her backhand. So there you go. It's add in. Marnie's ahead 1 point. She needs this to win this one. There we go. Nice little return. Good and deep. That's okay. Sometimes that's called a shank just because it's hit off center. So now she was waiting to get her chance for the short shot, and it just barely hit the net. So that ends up with Marnie having 2 games. She held her serve and broke serve. And so Jane did not win a serve, so she didn't break Marnie's, and she did not hold her own serve. So we have a new set of singles. So Jane, you or Marnie, which one of y'all wants to play? Who do you want to play? You get Laura or Mary? You get Laura or Mary? Yeah. Okay, so we have a new set of singles going on. Okay, now we're ready for our third set of singles. And again, they're just playing 1 game each so you can see the serving and return process and the strategy. So Jane is serving to Mary. So now we have 2 different styles up against each other again. Okay, first serve, see, notice how she goes and gets it. That's part of not only our tennis etiquette, but it's just part of one of the rules too, that the ball cannot be loose in the court. Safety aspect always there. Second serve was a little deep. So here we go. Nice return, nice and deep. Nice and deep return again. She's got Jane on the run, so she's moving her again. Jane's getting her racket on it. So what happened was, is she was just moving her a little bit from side to side until she could get just a little bit further out of her way. So Laura's strategy back there is to wait to see where she wants to hit her ground strokes. They're both ground stroke people setting it up, but they're hoping to, after they hit a couple of ground strokes in a row, opening up that court. So that started a nice one right down the middle, and you can tell it kind of jammed Jane. Kind of got so close to her she didn't have time to swing all the way through it, so that's why her follow-through was a little short. So now we have Love 40. There we go. Really nice first serve. Good, nice stroke coming back. Just a little late returning the ball. And then that's going to put it back into play. Go from there. So now we're moving over. So that was 3 lost points, which is really hard to do in that, so you don't get one, so you don't really get your rhythm, and it makes it really hard to kind of get into play when you don't get your rhythm. But it also gives you a chance to see what you're going to do against the person there. So now Laura's thinking to herself, well, I'm keeping these deep ground strokes, and I'm putting a little bit of pressure on her, and that might be the way to go right there. And then she scrambles in and puts that shot in. So there you go. So now, payback is a real you-know-what there. Karma comes back and gets you. We always laugh sometimes and say it may be the side of the court, but you notice that Jane returned deep and pulled Laura out, and she had crossed court and pulled her out. So the same thing that happened to her before. So these again are both deep players. They do have a short game, but they're playing deep right now, and they're using their ground strokes to move each other around on the court. Second serve, the first one was a fault. Here comes the nice second serve, nice and deep. Another nice return. They're sticking in the middle till they can see where they want to go. Little top spin on that ball, coming back. Oh, just a little long. Now, I didn't see all the way from here about Jane, but she's a little bit back on her heels, which means her weight is going back. When your weight goes back, you tend to open your racket face and you tend to send it sailing a little bit. So we want her to close her racket face and step into the ball instead of backing away from the ball. And another thing, too, is you want to think about, it's really important if you can to get your first service in a long time, because that puts pressure on that person over there. And it also puts pressure on yourself when you don't, because then you know that your second serve is like a do or die serve. If you don't get it in, you have no points. So you really want to think about that. It's 1 point to 2 points, or 15 to 30. That one was a long serve. She's sending it back over to Laura so it gets out of the way of the court, not in anybody else's way. And boom, she's ready to serve again. So now the score is 15-40. They're doing exactly the opposite of what they did a while ago. So 1 point to 3 is what 15-40 means. Just a little wide. It was closer to the doubles line, the alley, than it was to the service court. These ladies are super linesmen. They're so good about playing anything anywhere close. There's never really any doubt on it, so that makes it really nice. You're welcome. And if I had been somebody on the other court over here and it had come over to my court, we would have both stopped play and reset ourselves so that that ball was not a hindrance. Okay, another first serve. That's a fault. So now we're looking at second serve for the game right here. It's 30-40. So what we're having happen right now is different. Here we go. There we go. Good serve. Good in play. Oh, the short ball almost. So that was game. Okay, we're going to have a new set coming out again. So now we have Marnie and Mary are going to be coming out. Marnie and Mary are going to be coming out. So we're doing a super job of showing you different plays and different things that happen. Now remember, we're just doing 2 games at a time. Remember, 6 games minimum to a set, ahead by 2. So it takes you a while to kind of get your just going is what's doing. So far we've played only 4 games. And we've switched people each time so they get a chance to play somebody different and work with different skills each time. So now we have Marnie serving, and she's serving against Mary. So let's watch the serve and let's watch the return. Good. Remember, the first initial thing is to get that ball in play. Nice short ball, nice get by Marnie, and put it just a little bit wide. Just a little bit wide. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, now not only she did that on purpose by any means, but she broke the strings in her racket, or a string in her racket. That's why most of the time people that play significant amount always have 2 rackets. You have a loner racket or a second racket or something, and most of the people that have rackets have the exact same racket and strung the same so that you'll play the same each time is what you want. Now they can decide whatever they want to do on this. They can decide if they want to play this point again, and usually you're pretty nice about doing it, but to tell you the truth, if it was in a match we would not do that. So you can see where it's broken, which is kind of funny, not that I'm going to pick on Mary on this, but it's broken off center. So that means where she contacted it was off center. Usually the wear on your rackets are in the middle of your rackets. Now what's funny about this is there's no wear down right on these rackets, so I would have not have thought that one of these strings would break. So it might have been the way it was strung, it might have been where it was set or something. So she'll have to have this restrung before she plays with it. So
Mary didn't want to play it over. So
there you go, perfect. So, and usually that's the rule when it counts for something. It's a bummer. It'd be the same thing if you dropped your racket, it would not count for it. So she lost that point, and she lost it because she mishit, but it was because of the string on a racket, more so of her. So it was equipment. Oh, another good idea right there. Did you see how Mary came down? She stayed really low. One thing about Mary that you'll notice, she bends her knees and stays very low when she contacts the ball and her follow through. So that enables her to pick up nice low balls. She doesn't hop or skip to get it. So now we are 15-15. 2 points have been played. Nice deep serve. Look at that nice return. Look how her legs are down. Good, nice return. Oh, she's chipping it. Oh, there she goes. That slice that we did a couple of weeks ago, we showed Mary's slice. We really don't want to be against Mary's slice. But not only does she slice it, but it slices, stays low, and then it dies. Nothing comes up to get it to you. It's different when you hit a ball with a little top spin and it's low, but the slices are unbelievably hard to get to. So she's putting it into play. She's waiting till the ball gets deep. She's waiting till she gets a nice little ball that she can have a slice into. See how low she stays? And now, oh! Now, Marnie only has 2 choices. She can pass her or go over her. I'm not sure what that ball was called. She practices a lot. She practices a lot on hitting the tape and it going over into the court. Those are just process of what happens. And, you know, Mary was pretty close. Sometimes you'll get lucky enough to be close enough to the ball that you can still get it over, but the majority of time, you're not that close, and in the way it bounces, you are unable to get to it. So super weight on that. Oh my gosh.
So we're recording our video for class, sir?
Never mind. Super weight on that. Okay, this is a good time right now. You see this gentleman that has just walked through play. This is not a true tennis player. In fact, I'm almost positive he's a pickleball player. Anyway, in tennis, you never, did I say that never enough? You never walk through the court during play. Never. You just don't do that. That's part of the etiquette. You wait until play is completely stopped. When people have gone to change sides, then you can ask and say if I can go across court. That's just part of what it is that you do. So one of those do's and don'ts and those things that I've talked about in the past, that's an example right there. We probably could have timed that even better for that guy to actually do that. Not that we want to do that, but that's part of playing in the game. Now what was nice was that Marnie or Mary, neither one gave him the stink eye to show that he shouldn't be doing that. They just let that go. Now if it happened during play, she would start all over again, reserved, and taken that point all over again too. So now during this time, you can see a lot of slice going on in their game to each other. A lot of low balls, a lot of slicing, a lot of passing, a lot of setting up the balls, pushing them back, pushing them deep. And then when they go back deep, here comes another slice right there, right there. Oh, she almost did payback. She almost did payback. So you see both of them are thinking about the same game. Ground stroke, push back, deep balls, and then a short slice to drop it. They're thinking about that strategy, and it's been very effective. So here we go. Marnie is up 1 point. Another little slice return. Look at that. And she had the right idea. She was going to hit it deep, and Marnie was in the wrong place in the court, the no man's land. So that's what you want to think about. So Marnie held serve. That was held serve. So that match, you can just see from strategy right there, they both had the same strategy. So now it's execution after the strategy. Execution. So that's an important factor there, getting that execution going. So here we go. Very nice. Good first serve. Good return. Put that back deep into that backhand court. She's going to lift it up. This is another defensive lob, another nice deep ball. Now they're playing it. This is called a rally. When you rally until you figure out where you want to put the ball. Sometimes just keeping the ball in play, that constitutes the rally. So don't sometimes get in too big of a hurry to put the ball away or too big of a hurry to make your decision. 15 love. So Mary's going to try and hold her serve. Now that was going to be another inside out on Marnie's part right there, and she just pulled that one a little wide. So a little bit that was on her follow through. That was a really nice shot to be thinking about though. Okay, here we go. She is now up 30 love, so 2 points to 0. Oh, I love how she's watching her toss. She's not trying to hit those tosses. You notice that both those tosses went behind her. So she doesn't want to have to reach behind her to hit it. So she's paying attention to her tosses. That is part of your strategy. She's doing that again. Again, a little bit of a wind out here now. Good eye, good eye. She keeps watching that. Normally nobody's talking during a match. Nobody be talking like I'm talking. This is just what we're doing for video purposes. And the more you get a little rattled on your serve, You got to calm yourself down. You kind of have to go through a little ritual or something. You kind of have to talk to yourself and walk through it. Because if you get rushed, then what's going to happen is your next shot will probably be rushed. So you don't want to get in that hurry. So it's 30-15. Mary has 2 points and Marnie has 1. So here we go, 30-15. Almost on that first serve. Did you see how she pulled it some way far behind her? So she's still working on getting that toss exactly where she wants it. It's a lot easier to see when you're on this side when you're actually trying to serve the ball. Nice and deep. Nice good shot. Slice it again. Here we go. Nice deep ground stroke. Now you're moving Marnie around. Marnie's moving her back. She's looking to hit behind her. She almost did. Now we're starting all over again. We're playing the middle of the court. Deep balls. And we're going to reset. Marnie's going to go cross court. There we go. Just keep it low. Good. We're working the point. Keep it low. There we go. Very nice. Waiting till the open court. Good get. Good get. And she's going to hit cross court away from Mary. Mary still get. Okay, here we go. Marnie's in charge. She's trying to keep those angles. Oh, one short too many. That was an awesome, awesome point. You saw so many things in that point. It was a super point. You saw cross courts, you saw deep, you saw angles, you saw short balls, you saw hitting behind them and hitting in front of them. Very nice. It's 40-15. Good. Very nice. Super. Oh, it was a little low. Okay, so Mary managed to hold her serve. Okay, so we're going to do one more set of singles for strategy, and then we'll get ready for next week, which will be doubles strategy. So we're going to do one more round of singles. Okay, we have one more round of singles. Who wants to be the volunteer person? One more round of singles. One more. Do some things you haven't been doing. There we go. Okay. So, technically, they would be all warmed up now. We would be in past our first set, possibly. So now we would have been settled in and knowing what people are doing and what's effective. And usually people watch each other play, so that's another cool thing, too. You get ideas of what they can do. Okay, we've got Jane and Laura. The other girls are going to get a well-earned drink. Oh, gotcha. I still have the racket for you. There you go. Good. Nice first serve. Good get. Uh-oh. Run, run, run like the devil. Run. Good get. Oh, bummer. And that's what happens a lot. It's really funny. She ran her. But you get your racket on the ball. That's what you want to do. The most important thing is to get it back into play some way. Worry about that later on. Don't give up on a ball. Always go to a ball because there's always a chance that they'll miss something that's just sitting right there for them because they'll try for too much. So it's really important to do that. Make sure you play when you first start conservatively so that you have an idea of what the strategy is going to be. Then from there you can go out guns blazing if your shots are on that day. But always have a backup plan. Always have something else in mind. When your perfect shot doesn't work, always know that you have a backup. So right now, Laura really needs to reset because she has gotten into such a big hurry. She had 2 really quick serve returns. And so both of those, one went in the net and one went wide. So she's down already 40 love. 40 love she's already down. So all Jay needs is one more point. That gives her 3 points. And then look at that super return right there. So boom, no points. This is like turnabout's fair play right there. So now Jane wants to use her strategy of I need to stay on this roll. And then Laura wants to rethink her strategy and slow down the game a little bit so that they can keep themselves back in play. So that's kind of what strategy is all about, figuring out the times, the types of shots, where to move. Very nice first serve. Good deep return. Now we start our rally. Jane's moving in. Now our choices are lob her or pass her. And that was a super volley that she hit back. She let it drop, she angled it, and she kept it short. There wasn't any way for Laura to get up there. So Jane held her serve. Now Laura's trying to hold hers. Another great first serve, and oh, didn't quite go over the net. Very nice first serve. Now that was called a winner, because she didn't get it back in play, but she did get her racket on it. If she had missed it completely and not got her racket on it at all, that would have been considered an ace. So that's kind of how terminology goes. Another good first serve. These are all good serves. Nice ground strokes. Now we're starting our rally. Let's see our little strategy here. Oh! Jane said that's not going over, and it did. And Laura knew it was going over the whole time. The whole time she could tell. So a nice short little sliding little ball that came across and dropped. Okay, now Jane's getting in a hurry to hit it back. So what was looking there good for a while, now we're on up. All good first serves Laura's been getting in. So here we go. Nice, another good first serve. There we go. Run like the heck. Oh, go, good shot. Very nice. She didn't think she was going to get there. I don't think Jane even thought she was going to get there. And another thing about those short balls, when you run up to get those short balls, you want to have your racket in front of you. Extend that racket in front of you. You need that because that saves you an extra step there if you can get the racket in front of you. Yeah. Here we go. Another first serve. Every serve that she has hit has been first serve, and that ball caught the back of the line. Really nice ball. Really nice. So that was something that she was thinking about right there. The deeper, and that's a fine line there. Being so deep that it's going to catch the line, but not so deep that it's going to be long that you don't have anything to play with. So here we go. Tied up again. Another good first serve. These are serving is going really good. Got a little bit in a hurry there, so racket preparation kind of got a little rushed. So now it's Laura's. It's ad out, so it's Jane's ad. She's 1 point ahead. Oh, and it's called a shank. She hit it off the side of her racket. So now we're back to deuce, and we're waiting for someone to get 2 points in a row. 2 points in a row. Now we've gone this far, finishing up. Our word of the day today is pen, P-E-N-N, like pen balls or pen equipment. Anything that's sold sports-wise by pen. That was our word of the day for singles strategy. I hope you're still watching this wonderful approach and this wonderful short volley she did at an angle. And Jane could just not quite get there. So now we have serving for this game with add in, which is Laura's ad, will be for this game for her to hold her serve. So here we go, first serve in. I'm imagining since they all were first serve in before. Look at that serve. Fantastic, another winner on her serve. Okay, this is going to finish us up today for our singles strategy, our singles play. We want to thank the ladies, and I'm going to have them come over. We're going to do a little bit of our social distancing. So, Marnie, you and Mary come over so we can do social distancing with you two guys, and then we'll have Laura and Jane come over afterwards. So the ladies are going to come over, and they're going to give you their little opinions on strategy. This is always uncharted. We never know what's going to happen. But Marnie and Mary are going to give you their little tips on what they think strategy-wise as singles players. And all these ladies that are here today are singles players, so they have some information. So, Mary, why don't you start us off and tell us kind of what you think about strategy?
Okay, strategy-wise, I think it's very important that first of all you do get in your at least one of your serves to start the point. Also, you're going to look for that person's weaknesses. Marnie hits well on a short ball, so I tried to keep her deep. And really you just got to focus on getting your shots. I like to hit deep to keep them back, and then work my way in if possible.
Service, getting the serve in, good point, and also getting returns. You don't want too many. It's good to try to go down the line. A lot of times I'll try that at least once a game, try to get a winner off the first shot if it's a serve that I can do it on, but otherwise you've got to get the return in, because otherwise you're just giving them the game. If you miss every time, they don't have to work hard, so you want to make them play the point. You want to get the return back. And I said
talk about playing each other, strategy in general, either one of those things. Go for it.
Strategies.
Yeah.
Strategies. Basically, if you can, serve to your opponent's weaker spot. Usually, I mean, she has a really great forehand and backhand, so I try to do body serves if I can to Laura. And then usually she likes to hit. I try to hit nice and deep, just so that can't drop shot because that's my weak point. I guess when I play anyone, like any of these ladies, I usually use the first couple of games to see how they're playing, like Jane said, like what their weaker side is, what their tendencies are, and then try and use as much of the match to go ahead and kind of capitalize on some of their weaknesses. Jane doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses. She pulls out that top spin for dash. So, but I think like you can pretty much beat anyone. You just have to pay attention to how they play and their preference on shots, and then try and capitalize on their weaker strokes, which is and most importantly, don't get sucked into their game. Everybody has different styles, so you really have to stay on point with the way you play and what makes you a strong player. So don't give up your strengths to compensate for their weaknesses. Or take Jane as a double partner.
I want to thank all the ladies for helping us out. They're going to help us out next week again also. We're going to be doing double strategy next week. So you'll see their faces again, and they'll have different doubles combinations. They'll have different ideas. I'm probably going to set them up to the same doubles partner, but I'm going to show you different things that they do differently when they play. So think about all the things that they were doing today. Their short balls, their slices, their lobs, their overheads, their positioning, and think about how that might be applied to doubles for later on. Remember, the word of the week is pin. So when you put your submissions in for a single strategy, you want to be sure that you mention that. Thank you very much for participating with us today. Appreciate it. Thank you.